News now. Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, author of the briefing book on Substack. I subscribe, you should too. Adam Boehler, former Special Envoy for Hostage Response, Trump administration, CEO of U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. Good to see both of you gents jump right in. The Munich conference is this place where everybody goes and talks about unity and holds hands and says how great it is to be unified under a rules-based order. Joel Rubin, that's something you used to defend and love and participate in. Has Rubio finally now said the emperor has no clothes?
Well, you know, first of all, I thought it was an impressive speech, but I didn't think he argued against a rules-based order. What he did argue, though, was that we need to have real engaged organizations that are effective. But look, in the big picture, what Marco Rubio was trying to point out is that we are better together if we work in an alignment. And with Europe, I think a year ago, there was a lot of concern about whether or not there would be such an alignment, such a partnership. And now he kind of laid that fear to the side.
I think he was saying something a lot deeper than that.
I think what Secretary Rubio was saying is the time for appeasement is over and the time for action is now. He did extend a hand, and I think he did. He said, we will go it alone if we need to. We have done it before. It drove action in Iran. It drove action. It ended the issue in Hamas. We brought hostages home. He's extending a hand, but he's saying, we're going to do it on our own if we have to. We'd rather do it with you.
Right, but I think the other part to this, Adam, was this specific call out of Western civilization and Western values, and basically saying that Europe has given in to neo-Marxism, expansionist Islam in the name of compassion and progressivism, and that has to change if they're going to work together.
I think he said we all share Judeo-Christian values. And now is the time to make that change. And I think people already are. Look at Germany's changes, other people's changes. They've seen the president of the United States lead, and they're following it.
You know, the person who was the real hero of the Munich Security Conference for the past few years was Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because of Ukraine. The person who sort of is inheriting, if you will, the progressive ideology is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or the progressive mantle, I should say, who was asked about defending Taiwan there. Take a listen.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
You know, I think that this is such a, you know, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very long-standing policy.
So evidently, phone a friend is not available at the Munich Security Conference. Joel Rubin, is this the Democrats' bench?
I knew you were going to play that clip. I knew it. That was, there's a very simple answer. The answer is yes. We defend our allies, our democratic allies like Taiwan, but we have a big bench, a lot of members of Congress there. There are a lot of governors who are vying for the top slot. But I think that we as Democrats, we still haven't yet found our sea legs on foreign policy. Quite frankly, there's a lot of incoherence.
You got a new book coming out about that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sending it out.
I thought you were going to be a little bit more.
I love it. Thank you, sir. But yeah, I think we're still having our internal fight.
You do your own promos going forward. Adam, I'll give you the last point here. Is this what MAGA has always been about? Is this idea that the world, or at least Western Europe and the United States, was moving away from these values, and this is the last chance to bring them back?
MAGA is about the American coming out against elites. And I think the elite academic institution, the elite view is that we can all hold hands sometimes, and there's a pragmatism to MAGA. And it means that people and the President of the United States and Secretary Rubio speak for all Americans, and those are our values as a country. And where we share those in Europe, those are common shared value. That's what MAGA is.
Yeah, interesting now, as you point out, of how Europe is trying to return a little bit to traditional values. Whether or not they have the population mass left or been outnumbered to do that is to be seen. Joel, Adam, thank you both very much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.